Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of what we are now calling Learning Outside the Lines with Kyle and Glenn, or Glenn and Kyle.
Hey everybody.
Doesn't really matter what the order is, right? Glenn, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Outside, enjoying some sunshine. Get to listen to my neighbor's rooster crow incessantly. And I got the birds, and I mean, it's just beautiful out here today.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I'm stuck inside right now, at least for the time being. I would much rather be out there. So let's kind of get into it. So episode 3, we're going to have our very first guest here in just a little while. Bobby Gueh is going to join us. Bobby Gueh is the head counselor at Lanier High School, and he's going to be able to share with us some connecting points about how we stay connected emotionally with students and how we help continue to mentor them in, again, a strange time when we're kind of stuck in these digital landscapes together, right? So, Glenn, why don't you share your anecdote to start off with?
Well, I had the coolest experience today with one of my favorite students in the whole world on Zoom for my office hours. And it's just so cool to see him come by because he's basically a mini me. Like, I mean, like if you compare pictures of him to pictures of me at the same time, like it's frightening. And I mean, just our outlooks on school, our outlooks on life, like very, very similar. And I mean, he's a kid that is just really, really like, he struggles like to find the point in school, the purpose, like, why am I here? What does this mean? And, but we've really connected. He's just the coolest dude, not to, you know, but yeah, we're a lot alike. Let me just put it that way. But anyway, he was showing off his pop collection to me, like Funko Pops. And I have a huge collection too. So I actually took my camera and like basically did a virtual tour of my office and just showed off my ridiculous pop collection. You know, but it's just, again, it's making those connections. And there was this point when I was going over the lessons and kind of talking with him about school and the e-class page, you know, our online platform at Gwinnett County. And I was like, do you have any questions? And he was like, no, not really. I just think it's cool to be here. And he meant like, you know, in a classroom space, like together. Yeah. And that just really touched my heart because it, you know, really reinforces like it's so much more than just grades, than just book work, than just like learning, but it's those connections that we're building with these folks. And that doesn't have to stop. You know, I'm pretty sure he woke up just to be in that Zoom session so that way we could have that conversation. Like he sought that out so purposefully. And you know, that just made my whole day. That was like maybe my week. Like that was really cool.
Yeah. I think we're hearing a lot of anecdotes right now from lots of teachers and parents even about, and from kids directly themselves, like they would like to be in school right now. That would be the ideal option. It'd be interesting to see how that changed the culture and landscape of our classrooms and school buildings, you know? So I'll keep mine relatively short. Last night on my Instagram, I kind of put out a, you know, hey, here's this thing we're doing with the blog and you know, kind of asking people, hey, what are your experiences currently, you know, with either teaching your own children at home or being a teacher and trying to teach your students. And one mom who's doing a lot of, you know, teaching her kids who are, you know, 5 and younger, responded and just said, you know, hey, it's been a really cool moment watching the process of how my daughter learns to write as a kindergartner, right? And that's not anything, she would never experience that as a parent if she wasn't in this time. So looking at the positive part of it, it's probably hard, but she gets like a firsthand look at how her child is actually learning to write right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is really cool. A lot of opportunities.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get into the next part of what we always do with the show, which is the digital teaching hack. Still sticking with that name. Don't know if it's a good one. People, please complain if you don't like it. We'll change it to something else. But Glenn's got something new for you today. Go ahead. Hey, Glenn.
Yeah, so this is an app that I've been using religiously called Screencastify. And I knew it existed before, right? I knew a lot of this digital technology existed before, but it wasn't something that I necessarily had to utilize. So real quick, I had to figure all this out. But Screencastify is an extension that you can use on your on Chrome, on Google Chrome. And what it does is it really quickly allows you to make videos of your desktop, of your screen, literally screencasting. So with just a couple clicks, like I can click up here on the extension right there, I can launch Screencastify and it can start recording not only my desktop, but it also gives me a view very much like this one where I have a webcam that I can talk to my students while I'm working through stuff on the screen. It partners directly with Google, so that way everything that I record gets uploaded automatically to my Google Drive, and in just a couple clicks, I can share it to different learning platforms. In our case in Gwinnett County, it's eClass, but I love this little phrase here, click, click, classroom flipped. And it just, like it says, it makes your thinking visible. So instead of just you trying to put things up on your learning platforms and hoping your students are figuring it out, this is a way to basically interact with them and kind of show them what to do with your digital lessons. And like mine, like I mentioned in yesterday's episode, I'm getting them into podcasting. So you want to talk about like difficult landscape to try to teach them how to do that. So in this like video here on YouTube, I actually walk them through how to sign up for Anchor using Screencastify. So you can kind of see my webcam there in the bottom, and here's me signing up for Screencastify. Like signing up for Anchor. So I make an account right there with them to show them how to do it. And it's free. You get 5-minute videos unless you do the paid subscription, which is only $24 for a year. So that's about $2 a month. I went ahead and did it just because it gave me unlimited video length for recording. And plus there's even editing features that you can do with the app as well. So one of the things that I'm learning with this process with you, Kyle, is that if this becomes something that we have to spend too much time in, it's just not worth it. So Screencastify has a lot of tools that just allow you to basically do it, post it, and then you're done.
Yeah. And I would encourage anybody who actually tries Screencastify for the first time with Glenn's notification, reach out to Glenn. I mean, he can give pointers or tips. We try to make ourselves available after we have these conversations. So now it is my distinct pleasure for us to move on to what's the good word. And the good word today is going to come from one of my good friends and someone I have really enjoyed doing mentorship with, Mr. Bobby Gueh. So I'm going to get him to jump on with us now. Hey, Bobby, how are you?
What's up, brothers? What's up, brothers? How y'all doing? It's a great pleasure and honor to be here with y'all.
Yeah, so Bobby, real quick, is he is the head counselor again at Lanier High School, the same high school that Glenn teaches at. I used to teach there for a time as well, so that's how we're all connected. Bobby is also a doctoral candidate who's going to be defending in just a couple of weeks, so congratulations, brother. That has been a long time coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we just wanted to ask you a couple of questions because counseling is a different world than teaching. Not extraordinarily so because it's still about relationships with students. But what you're trying to do right now, especially for people like seniors, where this landscape is very trying, it's an emotional toll that these kids are taking right now. We just wanted to ask a couple of questions and get your point of view of how either teachers, counselors, or anyone in education can kind of be supporting kids right now. So the first question we kind of had was, again, is how do we support students emotionally kind of in this new digital landscape?
Yeah, you know, again, man, I can't thank you brothers enough, you know, just being trailblazing teachers. Kyle, you know, we go back a few years now, and Glenn, you know, as well. So, you know, you brothers always have creative minds and innovative minds. So that's kind of, you know, the foundation of what we are in now is not being afraid to take risk, to take chances, you know, to really impact the students and building, reaching out to them. You know, the natural human connection is that we need to be connected, and we need to see each other, we need to feel each other, we need to touch each other, we need to, you know, have that interaction. But unfortunately with this crisis, we don't. So how do we do that? The very first thing I will encourage, and I have, met with my counseling team the other day, is we have to get outside of our comfort zone. We can easily just say, we have this situation and have this crisis, and we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do it. But the very first step is being comfortable. To be uncomfortable. To be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And once we're able to do that, then we will see ourselves getting into some of these platforms digitally, virtually, and start to connect with our students. Um, I was on a call with a student the other day. I had a few students actually, first generation group that I run at Lanier, and I just had a cute, kind of a check-in session with them. So I had some of them on there, and just for them to be able to just see us. These are people. We are people that are part of their waking lives on a daily basis. A big part of their waking days. Every day they see us, they hear us, they hear those encouragement, and when they don't hear and see that, it creates anxiety for them. So it's very critical, man. For the teachers, for the counselors, for staff, anybody that work with students, I don't care where it is, find that mechanism just to simply check in, and that's when this first transpired. I was really big with my counseling team. Let's just check in, okay, and start there. And then as time went on, we're getting to a point now where we're having like actual counseling meetings, counseling sessions with students, one-on-one with parents, and all of that. But I think, Kyle, and the very first step, man, is being comfortable with the uncomfortable situation of virtual, landscape, virtual teaching, virtual education, if you will, and taking those risks. I love what Glenn just showed. I never heard about Screencastify, but now I wrote it down. I'm gonna go check it. I'm gonna go check it out. Anchor, I never heard about it until he promoted it. So, we're like a big family when it comes to education. So, just taking those risks and taking those chances to reach out to the students. I think that's a great place to start.
I'm hearing you also talk about kind of learning from each other and using the opportunity to kind of learn from other educators and learn from other professionals during this time too.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Absolutely. And I think because you and I know in the school building, you can have some great things happening in your classroom or in your world and no one else know. And you just like, well, I'm doing my thing in my own little world, and I'm just going to keep it for me and my students. That's the landscape of education sometimes, but we're in a space right now where just learning from each other and being open to share with each other is so critical, because we don't all have the answer, individually, but collectively we can make some critical changes and systemic changes, with what's going on right now. And just to hit the point of the building a relationship piece and maintain a relationship, little messages. If you have a platform of a classroom or a platform, a group of students, wherever, little messages, something positive on a daily basis. Because if you create a pattern like that, then at least the students are they're looking forward to something. If it's a daily inspirational message that you send out as a classroom teacher or counselor or whatever you do, if you're working with students, just create this mechanism or platform to where you send out a daily message. I'm thinking about you. I hope you guys are all right. We're going to get through this together. Those little things, go a long way in just helping with the anxiety they're dealing with. I had one student the other day who said they can't sleep at night, because of the anxiety and the stress of everything that's going on. So we have to really take this thing serious and play that role. Little role. It's little. It's not a huge thing, but that little role and those little things will go a long way in just helping with the emotional, struggle that's dealing with.
Yeah, that's powerful. The routine of it all. I mean, me and Glenn both have toddlers, in our house, and you've got young boys who are growing into young men right now, and routine still really matters for kids, and it doesn't really matter what age. So when I hear you talk about like just having that routine of reaching out, sending that message, that's part of that daily piece, that nugget that helps them feel like they've got something that grounds them a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that too.
Definitely.
You'd already kind of hit on this too, but I want to give you a brief second to add to it. When you talk about, so one of the things you do at Lanier is you have a group of young men that you mentor throughout the year with the help of other caring adults and men in the building. How are you encouraging those teachers to kind of connect to those kids, or how are you trying to kind of add to what you were just talking about with mentoring this group of young men, despite the fact that you guys can't get together physically?
Yeah, and the physical barrier, obviously, when it comes to mentoring, that's a huge barrier. We're not physically seeing them, but I do have to speak to the group that I'm working with specifically first. Like I said, I've been sending those guys messages. In fact, I sent one this morning, just an encouraging message to them, let them know that we're here. Reach out to us if there's anything you need. Some of them have been reaching out to me. Reaching out to some of the other mentors, so right now that's the main piece that we can do, and for teachers, not taking it for granted. One of my greatest books that I'm reading, have read many years and kind of helped me through this whole dissertation thing. So Paulo Freire talks about pedagogy of the oppressed, right? So pedagogy of the oppressed, pretty much the premise is, the educational system can become very oppressed. So we have to be mindful in the sense that some students are coming from a oppressive background. They may not have the access to resources. They may not have the access to certain things other students may have. That creates a little more comfortability during this time of stress, so for us as educators and teachers to be mindful of that one student that may not have been academically strong anyway, and now going through this stressful time, they may need that extra attention. So maybe even doing a little more outreach for those kids when you talk about mentoring. I know he always slept in my class. I know he never showed up, but you know what? Let me do the extra mile and the extra reaching out now, because we're in an intense, stressful situation. So that young man or woman might need a little more mentoring, if you will, a little more attention, because of the level of stress that, parents may have lost their job. Their parents may not be able to go to work, anymore. So all these levels of stress that are coming to the family is absolutely, hitting the students. So just being vigilant on those kids that always slept in your class, and sometimes we overlooked because we felt like they just don't care. Well, there may be a bigger issue going on,
And
so
we can't stop caring. We can't stop caring about them. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
We can't forget about those kids. So, I will, dare to say those kiddos are the ones that need some more of the extra mentoring and the extra reach out, than some others.
Yeah, more not less. Good.
Yep. Well, Bobby, I could talk to you forever, man. I mean, this is a conversation that really deserves to probably be more expansive than what we're doing right now. But to try to stick to our goal of making this bite-size and something that people can watch pretty quickly, we're gonna work towards the end. If you want to hang out with us for a couple more minutes, there's a couple things that we do here at the end in our little outro.
Yeah.
So, Glenn, do you have something queued up that you wanted to share? I didn't know if you.
It's all you today, buddy.
Okay, cool. So this is what I'm going to do. This is real simple today, but I wanted to share a resource that people have access to now that I just learned about. And I learned about this through Edutopia. So if you follow Edutopia, they have a newsletter that they send out on a pretty regular basis. But right now, particularly, they're trying to turn out material that's helpful for all of us teaching at home and trying to do learning at home. And so what this is right here, it's called the Modern Classroom Project. I'd never heard about it before until earlier today when I was looking at Edutopia. And so they offer this interactive online course, and the whole idea behind it is it's supposed to help someone who signs up for it to be able to explore how to flip the classroom or do some meaningful things if they've never done it before. So if you're looking for a chance as a teacher to just do some personal professional development, if you go to modernclassrooms.org, you can navigate to where they've got their online course, and we'll try to link that for you in the video. And then when you go to the Start Learning Now, you just have to sign up for an account. And then their free course is Building Modern Classrooms. And the whole purpose of the Modern Classroom is that flipped style or mindset of letting kids learn at their own pace, letting kids access things as they can access them. Bobby, honestly, trying to think about it in the terms of equity a little bit as well. So that's something to hopefully be mindful of. So that's kind of the extra little resource we wanted to share with you here at the end of today's video. So Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Absolutely.
It's great to see you. It's been a minute.
Absolutely. Hang in there. Keep doing your things, man. You know, we're gonna get through this definitely, man.
Yeah.
Just thankful for what y'all doing, man.
It's an honor and a privilege. So
yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that we're trying to focus on from the counseling standpoint.
All right. For those of you that are,
peace, brother.
Yeah, for those of you that are watching out there, just a reminder, share this with friends, family, all that good stuff. We want to be a positive force for you and those that are in your family. So thanks for watching.
yeah, thanks y'all.